Okay, so we have been working with multiplying whole numbers times fractions, fractions times fractions, mixed numbers times mixed numbers. Next thing we're going to look at is, what if you had a whole number and you wanted to divide it into fractional parts? So that's what we're going to look at in this video today. So I've got two problems we're going to work with. The first one is 3 divided by 1/3, and the second one is 3 divided by 3/4. So what I want to do is start off by drawing some pictures. And let's take a look and see what 3 divided by 1/3 would look like if we made some pictures. Okay, so I have drawn 3 separate shapes, 3 rectangles, and I broke each of them up into thirds. And so the question is, if I divide the number 3 into thirds, how many thirds would I get out of those 3 things? So here I can just count up. I've got 3/3 here. I've got another 3/3 here, and another 3/3 here. So if I divide 3 by 1/3, I'm going to end up with 9. So in other words, let's say I had 3 candy bars, and I wanted to share them equally among 9 friends. Then I would give each of my friends a third of the candy bar, and then that way everybody would get an equal share. Okay? So 3 divided by 1/3 is equal to 9. I get 9 equal parts out of it. All right? But what if I had this other problem? Let's go back and look. This first one, I just broke it into how many thirds? 1/3. This one, I'm looking at, what if I had 3/4? What if I wanted to group them with more than one fractional part in each of my groups? So my second question is, what if I went back and I had 3 again, but this time I broke it into 3/4 in each group? So let's see what that would look like. Okay. So again, I drew 3 rectangles again, but this time I'm breaking them into fourths. So I went ahead and broke all 3 of my shapes into 4 equal parts. But the difference with this is I'm going to group them into groups of 3/4 at a time. So let's see how many of those I would get. So here's my first group. I've got 3/4 in this group. And then here's another 3. So I've got 3 there. And then here's another 3 there. And then that leaves me with 3 left. So how many equal groups did I get when I divided 3 by 3/4? I got 1 equal group, plus another equal group, plus another equal group, plus another equal group. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 equal groups. Okay? So if, let's say, I had those 3 candy bars again, and I had 4 friends that I wanted to share them with, in order for everybody to get an equal share, each of them would get 3/4 of a candy bar. Okay? 3 candy bars shared among 4 people, everybody gets 3/4. All right? So part of what we're looking at here is we're drawing a picture and seeing how this works. And this is a great way to solve these kinds of problems. But one of the things I like to show you guys is kind of why doing a shortcut would work. And so the next step is I'm going to show you a shortcut to this and show you how this shortcut could work. So let's go back to the original problem. It was 3 divided by 1/3. And we're going to look at a shortcut for this. So 3 divided by 1/3, right? We know the answer is 9. If we broke 3 into equal groups of thirds, we would end up with 9 of those thirds. So the shortcut, it turns out, and you can do this with every division problem that involves a fraction. You take the original number, 3. And instead of dividing, we're going to change our symbol to multiplication. And instead of multiplying it times 1/3, we're going to multiply it times the opposite of 1/3. And here's the fancy word, reciprocal. Reciprocal. That means you take the fraction and you flip it upside down. So 1/3 becomes 3/1. All right, that's the reciprocal of 1/3. 3/1. Some of you may remember that word from the math STAR test that you had to take at the beginning of the year. If you got far enough where it asked you for the reciprocal, this is what it's talking about. 1/3 flipped upside down is 3/1. And when you do that, we know that the whole number 3 is already a fraction of 3/1. So 3/1 times 3/1 equals 9. You could say 9/1, but that still means 9 wholes. Okay? So we figured out over here that if we took 3 things and broke them into thirds, and we figured out how many thirds that was altogether, we came up with 9. Well, what we did is we multiplied 3 times, which is what we just did right here. So let's look at the other one. It was 3 divided by 3/4. Okay? We know our answer was 4. We broke it up, our 3 things, into fourths, and then we grouped them into groups of 3/4, and we came up with a total of 4 of them. So let's see how that shortcut would work for this. So I would go ahead and say 3 times the reciprocal of 3/4. Flip it upside down, it's 4/3. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3/1. Now I just do this like a regular fraction multiplication problem. 3 times 4 is 12, and 1 times 3 is 3. That's an improper fraction, and I can't leave it like that. So I have to say 12 divided by 3 equals 4. So in both cases, my shortcut worked out for me. So here's what I want you to do. We're going to add to our notes. I want you to, Ms. Tate's going to pause the video so that you can get your notes out. I want you to pause now and get out your notes. All right. The last set of notes that we took, we were writing down multiplying times mixed numbers. Okay, this should be the last set of notes that you had on fractions. All right, so we're going to add to our notes today, and we are going to say dividing by a fraction. Okay, so these are going to be your notes for today, dividing by a fraction. All right, so what I'm going to do is write down the kind of what we just did. All right, let's do 3 divided by 1/3. Okay, I want you to draw as best you can. I want you to draw 3 little shapes. Okay, I'm not going to make mine real big, but I want you to make 3 little shapes. And try as best you can to put those into, split them up into 3 equal parts. Okay? So it'll be like, doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to get the idea here. Okay? So each one of these parts is equal to 1/3. Right? So I figure out how many I've got. I've got 3 here, plus 3 more, plus 3 more, equals 9. Okay? So I want you to write that down in your notes. And then underneath it, we're going to put the shortcut. Okay? So I want you to write down shortcut. And I want you to put 3 times 3/1, which is equal to 3 over 1 times 3 over 1, which equals 9. Okay. And what I want you to do is circle this 3 over 1, put an arrow underneath it, and write 3 over 1 is the reciprocal of 1/3. All right? Now the next thing I want you to do is we're going to do that second problem that we did. All right? I want you to write down 3 divided by 3/4. And on this one, I'm going to just go ahead and do the shortcut on this one. Okay? If you want to go back and write down, draw the picture out, please feel free to do that. But as far as the notes in this video, I'm just going to go ahead and put the shortcut. Okay? So I'm going to put 3 divided by 3/4 is equal to 3 times 4 over 3, which is equal to 3 over 1 times 4 over 3. And we know that equals 12 over 3, because 3 times 4 is 12, 1 times 3 is 3, and that equals 4. Because 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Okay? So this is an introduction into dividing by a fraction. You're not going to have to divide a fraction by a fraction. The most that you'll be asked to do is a whole number like this divided by a fractional part. Okay? So that's the notes for today, and your practice work, your homework is going to be working on these kinds of problems. So you have your notes to refer back to.